Okay, first one say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Gakadash. And the Devan said, elders, apostles, and teach great millions, how learn the truth, and I'll say, Shalom to the whole elect of Israel. And I'm going to send this on the new moon and how the day which the new moon falls upon sets the new moon is a Sabbath, first of all, but that sets the day on which we're supposed to be observing the Sabbath throughout the rest of the new moon cycle, which is around 30 days going into the next month, which sets the new moon goes through a rebirth cycle of sorts, and it sets the the Sabbath for the next month. Hope that made sense. But you got a lot of assholes that are ruling, that are ruling their congregation how they personally want when it comes to the scriptures, meaning they're not operating by what the scripture says. They're picking and choosing, they're twisting things. I'm just going to go to Genesis 1 and 14. Because, when the Lord created everything had a purpose, and there's a couple of points I want to get out of Google going into this. But 114, Yahweh said, let there be lights in the firmament for the heaven to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and years. Let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. Yahweh made two great lights, greater light to rule the day, lesser light to rule the night. He made stars also, which is the sun and the moon. And he says, and these lights were for signs and seasons and days and years to alert us to things. Now, mind you, the days weren't numbered, which is why he said Elder Apostle Tahar mentioned how when he was a kid, he used to tell time he could tell the time of the day just going by the position of the sun, which is what we did because we didn't have clocks. We told we were how did you go from the one day to the next? It was from the going down of the sun and the going up of the moon. That's how you went from one day to the next. That's how you could tell. And I'm just gonna go through the list of scriptures. Let me see here. And we go through the scriptures regarding the new moon and the Sabbath. The new moon and the Sabbath are linked. They're whenever I don't want to say whenever, but oftentimes you'll see new moon and then you'll see Sabbath somewhere close to it because they're linked. Because the new moon, that sets the Sabbath for the rest of the day. I mean, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the moon cycle. I know this one's in Sirach. And I'm going to get that as well. It's a Sirach 43. And 6, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and the sign of the world. For the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. And that's the thing. It says a light that decreases in her perfection. And let me see here. I'm going to go into the full moon, the cycles of the new moon, because you have the full moon, which is when the moon is fully visible. But the new moon is when the moon is completely black. So it says it decreases in her perfection, meaning, the closer and closer you get to the new moon, to that moon being, rebirth, the rebirth cycle of the moon, you see less and less of it. You can look up, a chart on the moon, and you'll see that. Let me see here. The new moon is completely black. Then it goes to waxing crescent, third quarter, waxing gibbonous, where most of it, and then you have the full moon. And then you have the waxing gibbonous, when a part of it is most of it is visible again. First quarter, where half of it is visible. Waxing crescent, where part of it is visible, and then the new moon, where the thing is completely, it's not visible. It's visible, but it's black. But I actually have something for that, because you look up on Google, full moon versus a new moon. Where was I? Verse 6, you made the moon also serve her season for declaration time, the sign of the world. For the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, bringing an instrument of her armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. And it says the month is called after her name. And when you go into the word, I'm going to go into that to Edom Online, the word month. But I'm going to get this, the new moon versus the full moon. It says that the full moon is between the earth and its orbit. Then the backside of the moon is being lit up, and the side facing the earth is in darkness. This is called the new moon. When the moon is completely dark, if the moon is on the other side of the earth compared to the sun, the near side of the moon will be fully lit up, a full moon. So we know what those are. But there was something that I looked up. Let me see here, because I looked it up on my computer. See if I can show it on the phone. There's some information about it. Go inside the moon's phases. Link to the months of the year. On average, there's one full moon per month. But let me see. There's a point here I have on my computer. I really want to pull it up. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but I have this point pulled up on my computer. Let me look. AI overview. It's not gonna pull. Okay, but the point is I'm gonna go to Edom Online and pull up moon, because the moon and the month are linked, and it says what the new month is determined by the moon. The month is called after her name. This is 1/12 of a year, one of 12 parts into which calendar is arbitrarily divided. Menoth, also of Old Saxon, Menoth, Old Phrygian, Monath. But you see the word says, which is related to moon. Usually the month was interval between one new moon and the next. But just going to how the month, and it says what the month is called after the name, is going to how those two are linked. But there's this I wanted to go to, and to get this point right here, it says some consider the new moon a time for reset and realignment. So once again, a reset of what? That's the next month. I'm going to go to this as well because, people are going to Friday, sundown to Saturday, sundown Sabbath, and they stick strictly to that. There's a couple of points on the days of the month because we didn't have clocks back then, and every time you see, you go to the days, you have the first day, the 21st day, the 7th day, the 6th day. It's complete madness and blasphemy because even when you go into the days of the month, and the months themselves are named after heathen gods, and these names came later. The Lord had already established all this before those days came. The name of those days came. It says, well, first of all, you're not going to find the term Saturday or Sunday anywhere in the Bible because the Bible never names days. And all of these different points are saying the same. Everybody's saying the same fucking thing. All these different points, whether it's a random nigga or an AI fucking overview or whatever, all these things are saying the same thing. The New Testament gives us name for 3 days of the week. The first, 6th, 7th, Sunday, Friday, Saturday in modern parlance. But when New Testament, when was that? That was in the Roman times. But we're going back into the ancient world. We're in the ancient world where everything. I don't want to say everything originated. Technically, yeah, but were there names? Were these names that we use today? Were they back then? And the answer is no. The days of the week are not named in the Bible, but people will say, "Hey, these days, are named in New Testament." But we're not talking. We're not talking about the New Testament. It's all about where these names in the ancient world. The names of the week were not named in the Bible. In the original Hebrew, the days are numbered. First day, second day, up to the Sabbath day. There you go. They were numbered. They didn't have names. And you go through all these different points, they're all going to say the same thing. The only day named in the Bible is the Sabbath. All the other days of the week are named in relation to the Sabbath. First day, second day, third day, But in the ancient world, when everything was established, you didn't have these Roman names. So, I just wanted to get those few points because it makes absolutely no sense to try to say Friday, sundown, Sabbath to Saturday. It doesn't make, because when we were originally given that, there was no Friday or Saturday. This is proof that these niggas are doing what they want to do. They're not acting in accordance to the Bible. IUIC, those niggas are doing what they want to do. But oftentimes when you see the new moon, it's linked to a feast day or a Sabbath. Just to be clear, when the new moon comes in, that's a Sabbath, and that sets the Sabbath for the rest of the day. So if it falls on a Thursday, the Sabbath for the rest of the month is going to be Thursday. Because you have that next new moon cycle when it's rolling over into the next month. Going to that point, it says some consider new moon a time for reset and realignment going into the next month. If it falls on like a Friday, then it's going to be a Friday. The reason why it may seem confusing to some people is because because new moon is seemingly changing. It's changing on days of the week, but these days of the week weren't the original days of the week. Hope that makes sense. But Amos 8:5 saying, when will the new moon be gone? Let me see here. Yeah, just get the point. saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? Now, why would they ask that question? When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? Because what? If the new moon is a Sabbath, we're not supposed to be selling on the Sabbath. We're not supposed to be doing any work or any forms of commerce on the Sabbath. That we may sell corn. And it even says it right there, and the Sabbath. Once again, that new moon and the Sabbath feast days are linked. Oftentimes they're linked. That we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying balances by deceit. And you may buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of shoes, and sell the refuse of the wheat. But we know it links that new moon, and it even says right there, the new moon is a Sabbath. And it's being plainly set out. It's set out plain and clear. All of these different points when you want to go, why is the moon, why is the month goes back to the moon? It even says in the Bible, the month is named after her. The moon, that's where you get the word month from. This is going to be it. Let's start verse 22. Isaiah 66 and 22. For as the new heavens and new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. It shall come to pass that from one new moon to another. Why? No, that's another thing. If I heard some shit about the full moon being the Sabbath. If the full moon, because when you go into if the full moon is a Sabbath, why is it named specifically new moon here? Why doesn't it say full moon? Because the few scriptures that I got, it specifically mentioned new moon. Let me go back to Amos really quick to make sure. Yes, it specifically said new moon. Why didn't it say full moon? Let me see here. Is full moon even linked to a Sabbath? Okay, let's try full moon feast days. Yeah. Full moon, the new moon is, let's see, new moon. Oh, there you go. New moons is linked to feast days, linked to Sabbaths. It says 1 Chronicles 23 and 21, or 31. And to offer burnt sacrifices unto the Lord and the Sabbaths and the new moons and on the set feasts. Why didn't it say full moon? By number according to the order commanded unto him continually before the Lord. And once again, you go into, feast days and Sabbaths, they're linked to new moons, man. Where was I? It's Isaiah 66, 23. It says, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, from one Sabbath to another, that shall all flesh come to worship before me, said the Lord. And once again, I've been reiterating the point. If the full moon is a Sabbath, why is it that when you look up, why is it that the Sabbath and feast days are linked to a new moon? Not only that, but in the ancient world, where is the Monday through Sunday week? It wasn't there. Something changed. Something was added. when you go into those the names of the month, their names of the month, and the days, they're named after heathens. And when you go into one of the 10 commandments, for those niggas who say that they follow the commandments, which that is hubris, but they worship on those days named after those heathen gods, ignoring the new moon Sabbath, which that's what the Lord put it there for, signs, for feasts, for changing of times, days, the month, the changing of the month. That's how we did things. We didn't have calculators, we didn't have clock. We didn't have calculators either, but we didn't have fucking clocks. We didn't have that. We went off of the moon, the sun and the moon, to determine the times and seasons. But it's pretty much it. Hopefully that finds it. I'll praise this for analogy. How about you, my shab, I can go dash. The Bronze Elders, Possible Teach, Graham, Mills, Truth, Show on to hopefully is instruction battle on Great America.